Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Victoria Steve, and tonight I have a fantastic show for you. Dr. LaSean R. Shelton will be our guest, coach, author, and media personality. But first, a quick break. We'll be right back.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Victoria Steve, and I'm sitting here with Dr. LaSean R. Shelton. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, LaSean R. Shelton. I'm originally from Jamaica, Queens, New York.
Hey.
Grew up in Rochdale. Shout out to Rochdale. And I went to Delaware State University, at the time college. So that's how I ended up in Delaware. And I had the opportunity to do a lot with mass media and, theater. And I had this love for speech, English literature, and anything writing. So moving full circle, I now have 3 children. One, 24, AJ, he's in the Air Force. And then I have my 17-year-old, they call him Pretty Ricky.
Okay. But Pretty Ricky is what they call him.
And then my 13-year-old daughter, Aaliyah Bernice. And we're just, it's just a blessing to be an educator, to be a coach, to be a writer, a speaker. And it's just a blessing.
I can imagine. So, you're a true New Yorker,
Yes,
and
I
then
am.
you found your love for writing, and you found your purpose. When did you find that? In college, or when did you realize what you wanted to be?
I didn't know what I wanted to be in college. I unfortunately wasted my first year in college because I wasn't sure. How you go in because it's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the Marine Corps out of high school. And my parents were like, no, not happening. So I said, journalism, mass communications, because once my dream of being a dentist got shot down, a little black girl from the city being a dentist, I was like,
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
So I went for journalism, mass comm, and I loved it. But it was going too slow for me, so then I went to hotel restaurant management, which I didn't like at all. And I found myself just jotting notes down and writing, and that was my first real experience, with domestic violence in college. And I would write about it, and I would crumble it up. And then I would write about it some more. So I think my first love with writing started out in college.
Okay, that sounds very cathartic. You really expressing yourself on paper and okay. So do you feel like that helped you throughout that situation?
I think so, because I really didn't have anyone to talk to, and not because I didn't have friends or associates. It was just kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
You have this strong personality, you're a cheerleader, you're, I wouldn't say popular, but you're kind of cool. And then only to tell someone my dream boyfriend is beating me up. That wasn't the thing to do, So I had to write about it.
Okay, so how did you get into motivational speaking? Was that the transition, when you got yourself out of that situation?
Motivational speaking, I have always been that person.
Okay.
I was always that person in grade school, junior high school, where they would say, can you give this speech? Or can you speak at my wedding? Or can you speak for this? And I think I unofficially became a motivational speaker as a teenager. But as a professional speaker for transformation, inspiration, and motivation, that happened in my 30s.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, that happened in my 30s.
So how did you really get into it? How did you put that on your resume? No, this is what I do, though.
This is what I do. Yeah. So prior to speaking, I was homeless. Again, strike 2 with the domestic violence, and I just said there has to be a point in my life where I have to pinpoint what is going on. Why am I mirror imaging somebody that's not good for me? And I saw that I wasn't the only woman that was going through the things that I went through. And I would just give pep talks. And they were like, wow, you really made me feel better. So then it would start out with just a phone call, then a group of women. then under the bridges and tunnels, and then at the jails and
Wow.
hospitals, and then it just flourished that way.
Okay, so like the progression, like you started getting paid for it and stuff like
Yes,
that. Okay.
yes. I was like, oh, I can make money for this? Wait a minute. This is just me talking and giving people what they need to hear. And then you're putting money in my pocket? Okay, thanks. Like, that was just like the icing on the cake.
I could imagine. So the homelessness and the domestic violence, were they
Girl, yes.
related?
Yes. The college situation, that really became dangerous because, you know, when you're dating somebody, they meet your family, and he, you know, would say things like, I'm going to go back to New York and find your family. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not leaving.
Oh.
And he would like find out where I would live. So I would find myself like a gypsy. Mom, I don't want to live here anymore. So can you and Pop move me somewhere else? And I didn't have the gumption enough to say, I need you to move me for my safety.
Yeah, because you were embarrassed at the time.
Yeah, I couldn't tell my parents someone was hitting on me. My dad and brothers would have been up there and it would have been bad. But I didn't want to break their heart, you know. So I would say that moving forward, the gentleman to whom I was living with, it was brutal. You know, I contemplated jumping out a window one time, and that didn't work. Because, I'm like, I was meant to be here because there were these little scaffold plastic that catches the boulders when they're scaffolding. And I'm like, only me would slide on one of those things and end up on somebody's.
That's it. No. I got plans for you. I got plans for you.
So when I got to that point, I said, I have got to go, and sleeping on the street, or in New York they call them abandonmeniums, that was safer to me than moving back with him. Yeah, so abandonmeniums. So, you know, back before they started taking over areas, they would have brownstones and apartments that were empty.
Oh my goodness! So that's where you for your safety.
Yeah, I would get a candle, you had a bucket, and it was yours until, you know, the sheriff came and was like, you got to leave. But that was what I made my home for a while.
So how old were you when all this was happening?
I was in my 20s.
Like early still in the
20s,
college years?
No, I graduated. I was divorced by that time. I was in acting and modeling, and then that got messed up. So I was just in despair, you know, just doing stupid stuff, you know, experimenting with different substances, and it just ruined everything. So I said, well, I can't act and model anymore, and I'm not in theater anymore, so just here I am.
That's never stopped anybody from acting and modeling before.
You would think,
yeah, right?
all that stuff. Shout out to those that got clean in acting.
So the hardships in your life, like the tumultuous beginning, how do you feel like that's improved the way you relate and, like, you know, speak to people that you know, speak to? Right.
I mean, I think the growth in my presentation, taking away so much me and focus on them, finding ways that's restorative to make a person feel like you're talking with them and not to them or at them. Because when you're having a conversation with somebody in that situation, whatever barrier or challenge they're in, it's easier to talk with them than to them. They feel more comfortable. They'll disclose and open up more. And then that's when I may have sessions where it's more private and exclusive. But as far as my speaking is concerned, I find like I'm more bolder. I'm more courageous with it. I'm not afraid for people to find out, like, oh my gosh, she was homeless. You know, I couldn't say that before. I was like, I had difficulties. Now I can say it with authority because that's not my current situation, you know.
Nice. So how did you get yourself out of the homelessness? We spoke about, like, you know, you escaping from the horrible domestic violence situation. Getting yourself out of homelessness is hard, especially this was in New York. You were homeless?
This was in New York, in Harlem, 146 and Clayton Powell. You know what? I don't want to say it's a blur, but I just remember just one day just waking up like I can't do this anymore. And I remember my parents being involved with it. I remember me saying, you know, I need to get myself together and get my own place. And I ended up on 169th Street in Prospect in the Bronx. And it wasn't the best, but it was perfect for what I needed.
Nice.
You know, and I had my son at the time.
This is the firstborn?
The secondborn.
So
So by this time I had the secondborn. And I found that I would stay with, so it was kind of tricky. I was with his dad, but we weren't staying together. I was still staying with the abusive ex. I know it sounds weird.
All right, so hold that thought. We definitely got to get more into that. And I definitely want to get into your books.
Yes.
We'll be right back. You've been watching Beyond Focus TV. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Victoria Steve. And if you're just now tuning in, we're having a fabulous conversation with Dr. LaSean. I know it's really important to talk about, like, you know, rocky beginnings and, like, you know, how you came from that tumultuous relationship to becoming an amazing author now, you know? So you have your book, Lifestyle Change?
Yes.
This is your new one.
This is the second one. This was supposed to be the first book, but I put so much of what I went through in this book, it took longer. Because when you have to face what you've been through, it's like, I don't want to put this on paper yet.
It was like a self-actualization type thing?
Yes, yes. I talked about, you know, a couple, like, this is so, I've really never got into full detail with this book, but I've talked about things that I've seen, you know, a young lady to whom I was really cool with, and knowing that she was killed. And, you know, and knowing that I was in that place, but because I said, I'll be right back, I'm going to go to the bodega and get something, that saved me from being thrown off a roof. And I talk about that here. So it talks about realization and then changing, and then from change, how to sustain it and take action. So I would say with this book, no one's ever known this, but this book, like 80% of it's about me.
And how's it written? Is it written like it's not like first person, like, oh,
I changed the names to protect the innocent
and
the guilty. But this book really talks about, you know, how to get over situations that may have had either addictive behavior, maladaptive behaviors, or anything that's just not good. And I wrote it like a treatment plan, because prior to all of the authoring and speaking and teaching, I was a social worker. So when I was in social work, I found that, wait a minute, these treatment plans really work. You know, you find out the chief complaint and what's the short-term goal, the long-term goal, the objective. And I wrote this book just like that.
Oh, nice. So how did you get the idea to write the book? Because you were going through all this, like, you were like, oh, I have to write this down on paper. Like someone, like,
you know, when you're sleeping at night and 3 a.m, it's like, why am I up? Why am I up at 3 o'clock in the morning? You go back to sleep. Why am I up at 4:32? All right, God, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, they always say that. They always say, like, when you can't sleep at a certain hour, it's because of something. I've heard that all the time.
And I would be in that deep sleep, you know, drool and everything. And then it's like this. I'm like, ooh, why am I up? Right?
I'm waking you up.
And by the time, when I wrote this book, Congratulations, You Just Lost Your Job, was out. And when I wrote this book, I think it was just me wanting to just say, let me just get this out. You know, stop putting a mask on. I tell people, don't mask yourself. And then here I am not telling everyone everything. And I felt that I wasn't being authentic, you know. They needed to know. And I don't mean like have like a bullhorn and have a sky written. But the people to whom I work with, they need to know, yes, you could be homeless, but you could get over that.
Exactly.
Yes, you're in a domestic violence relationship, but you can get over that. And even what I was telling you about with, I think he's deceased now, so I could say his name, with Roy, when I was staying there, it was safe. You know, there was food, it was water, it was whatever I needed, but it was violent. And then with my kid's dad, it wasn't, we had to go to the food pantry to get food. Or we would have to eat like gefilte fish and tomatoes. Like, has anyone ever had gefilte fish?
What's gefilte fish?
I don't even know. It was like some kind of fish in a jar.
Okay.
And it floats.
Was it white?
Whitish.
White? I think I've seen that. Okay.
When next time you go to Acme or ShopRite, gefilte fish.
Okay, it's the struggle fish.
The struggle fish.
Okay.
And I was chopping it up like I was at a 5-star restaurant.
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. I was struggling over here, but I was chilling over here. So when I was having like prime rib and cracked lobster, I was having it with a black eye or a busted lip, or, you know, literally like chained to the chair so I couldn't go anywhere. Oh. But then on this side, I was free to move around, but we were eating gefilte fish and spam. You know, so I had to figure it out. And then by the time I made my decision, I found out I was pregnant with my son, Pretty Ricky, Jay. And when Roy found out, that was when I had to say it was either fight or flight. And it became a fight into a flight, and I just never seen him again. I erased myself from that area, and I talk about it in this book, How About a Lifestyle Change, how I had to fight to get out of that because I am very confident that he would have tried to take me out. I'm very confident in that. So I'm proud that I didn't let the aesthetics of well-to-doism blur my vision. And even though I was struggling over here, I was safe over here.
Yeah. Safety's first when you think about it.
Absolutely.
So the book, how have your loved ones received it? Like, and has anybody been like, LaSean, who's this about? Like, has that happened?
That's why I changed the name.
Okay.
So I sat with my brothers and my dad. I'm very close to them. My mom passed away, but before she passed away and before she really became incapacitated, she said to me, she's like, you have a story to tell. It's just a matter of when you're going to do it. And I was like, girl, whatever. And my Aunt Emma, her sister, she said, my nickname was Nut Nut, though, because they sell it. Long story.
Dr. Nut Nut?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she said, your mom always said you're the story. When you going to tell it? So I sat my dad and my brothers, and one of my brothers was like, no, I don't want to relive that anymore, no. Then my other brother was like, I don't care. That's your life. And then my dad, he said, I'm so proud of where you were and where you are. If this is going to set you free, then do it. But I had some friends that were like, girls, have me in chapter 12. And I'm like, change the name to protect the innocent and the guilty.
It's your story. So, that's your story to tell.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I love that. So what exactly do you want someone to get from your book? Like, I understand, like, it's therapeutic for you to write, but, like, what do you want someone to get out from it?
Well, but this particular book, I just want people to understand that, either addictive behaviors or bad patterns, it doesn't start and end with drugs and alcohol. People think that, you did this because you were a crackhead or you drank or you did this. People can get addicted to water. They get addicted to sex. They get addicted to exercise, shopping.
Yeah.
And the same insanity, we were talking about insanity earlier in the car because I couldn't get my radio to play. But the same, because I'm addicted to music, and the same attitudes and behaviors that you present with when you are under the influence of something, you can present with with objects, services, products. And that's what I wanted people to know. Now, with that book. Now, the other books, congratulations, you just lost your job. I wanted people to know that they can become entrepreneurs. You can do this. You got this. Whatever you were blessed with, and everyone's been blessed with something. Whether it's braiding hair, cleaning, cooking, making baskets, whatever, monetize a passion, your gift. So that's what I wanted people to get out of that one. But the last one, my baby, I know we're going to talk about that later.
All right. Yeah. Perfect. So can't wait to get into that. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Welcome back to Beyond Focus TV. If you're just now tuning in, I'm your host, Victoria Steve, and we were speaking with Dr. LaSean Shelton. We were talking about your beginnings, your book, and we wanted to talk about your new book, Prerequisite of Adulting 101. Yes. So tell us a little bit about that.
That book is my baby.
Whoa.
This book meant a lot to me. Congratulations, you just lost your job meant a lot to me. But this one, listen, it is a workbook book put together.
Okay.
So typically with the type of book that it is, you would have a workbook on the side that you would pay maybe $20-something for, and you would use it in conjunction with the actual book. I said I didn't want people to do that. I wanted people to have it in one spot. So Prerequisite to Adulting 101 talks about everything that we should teach in school, because I am a secondary teacher. Everything we're supposed to teach in school, but we don't. If you really think back when we were in school, we had wood shop, we had home economics. That's where I learned how to make crepes and like blueberry pancakes.
Like life skills.
Life skills. Button cursive, tell time. And I ran into 3 situations that told me, you know what? We're failing these children in the education system. So the first one had this motivational speaking project, and I was so proud of it until a teacher came to me, and she was an adult. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you did this. The students were excited. But I have a question I want to ask you." And I didn't want to, ask in front of everybody else because I didn't want to intimidate anyone. I said, "Sure, what is it?" And everyone who knows me, they know my face. I don't have a quiet face. My face shows everything.
Got it.
Happy, sad, whatever. So she says, "Can you tell me where's the exact place I should go?" How am I trying to say it? Okay. And this is the real conversation. Where should I go to get good credit? And I said, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And then she said,
"Have a seat."
She said, like, where would you suggest that one would go in order to get good credit? And after my face kind of went back, I said, "You do realize that your credit score is attached to your birth date, your social, your spending habits, and the kind of money you have coming in and out."
She's misinformed, or she just never knew, because you don't
Parents
learn that.
Parents did everything for her, and we don't teach that in school.
Yeah, not at all.
Strike two. One of my students, she had on a pair of pants, and the button in the zipper broke. Now, granted, they were a little small, but so what, right? And she's like, "Oh, my mom's going to kill me. It's the third pair of jeans I had to throw away this month." And I said, "Well, so-and-so, why are you throwing away your jeans?" She said, "The button came off. Can't you see?" So I said, "Okay, calm down."
First of all, who you yelling at?
Take that back. I see the button. Close that up a little bit. And when I showed her how to sew and fix her zipper, it was like,
"Girl, I gotta go to YouTube to learn how to sew."
Yes.
Why? Why are we not learning this? You're right.
YouTube University is taking over what parents and teachers should do. And her mother came bearing gifts because I showed her daughter how to sew. And I'm like, we couldn't leave my mother's house without learning how to sew and cook. And the last one was a little embarrassing because my son, the one in the Air Force, love you, AJ, he wanted to cook dinner for me. I'm a single mom. And he wanted me to relax. And I came, I said, "It smells so good. What are you making?" He said, "I'm making arroz con nules and some baked chicken." I said, "Arroz con nules? Oh my gosh, yes." But then we cut the chicken and it's like squirting blood everywhere because it wasn't cooked all the way. So I said, "Okay, that's it.
Effort.
Yeah, that's it. You try to kill us with salmonella. Got it." So I said, I have to write this book because it's hitting every angle of my life. And this book is everything. How to change a tire, how to change your oil, where to change your tire if you break down, checks, how to write a check, debit and credit.
So it looks like I need to get this book.
Everything's in it,
Yeah.
Everything. Career cruising, how to get over like a broken heart kind of.
Okay.
And it talked about loss. If your best friend moves, if you lose a pet, if a parent dies, if your best friend goes to Bangladesh and never talks to you again.
That's beautiful.
How do you handle it?
So it's like a comprehensive coaching book?
Yes, 260 pages of what we should teach in school.
I like that. And it definitely sounds like something that I would gift my little cousins, and me too, because that sounds like something I would need.
It's 4th grade and up. It's something for everyone. Even when you write your 5-year plan, what does your 5-year plan look like?
What is a 5-year plan? Period.
Exactly. So we're not teaching that in school. And, when I hear my students ask me, "What time is it, Miss Shelton?" And I'm like, "There's a clock right there." And they're like, "That's what that thing is?" It just blows my mind. So this book is my baby. My goal is to get it into as many school districts as possible.
Yeah.
Because it just encompasses everything that you should know by the time you're 21. Even how to use an ATM machine.
So things that, maybe you kind of stumble to learn, because even with cooking with me, I'm slowly learning. I'm like, okay, mac and cheese,
there's 37 recipes in there.
Oh, nice.
There's actual recipes like how to make your own sausages.
I hope all my baby cousins know that they're getting this for Christmas.
Yes.
All of y'all.
Get this, invest this. And shout out to Chef Sharon Fox. She's the author of one of her books, her cooking books, who donated these recipes to the book.
Oh, nice.
And everything. How to make banana bread, girl. Banana bread.
Nice life hacks. That's good. That's good. And I wanted to also talk to you about the conference that you're having.
Yes, Shatter Your Ceilings 2020. Sometimes I cry when I think about it.
Okay.
Because I have people tell me, "Girl, you can't do that." And I'm like, "Well, why not?" girl, you're not ready for that. And we had a sold out sponsored
Beautiful.
Dr. Alex Ellis. I love you, man. Thank you so much for coming through, big brother. Dr. Alex Ellis was found, like, I don't want to say founded, but he works with Steve Harvey and he works with the Disney Foundation. And he spoke at my event.
Beautiful.
And it was sold out.
Nice.
And the same people who said, girl, you're not going to be able to get him. It's not going to sell.
Haters.
Yeah.
So what is the conference exactly? What is it, like life coaching or?
It is everything that people told you that you cannot do, and we show you that you can. So I have speakers who come from different states. We have people from South Carolina all the way up to New York, excuse me. And they just talk about, different motivational strategies for you to overcome any obstacle. So this year, shatter your ceilings. We are talking about the year of the entrepreneur and the year of the student.
Nice. So how can people get in contact with you?
I was just thinking about the song earlier again. You can contact me by going on social media. I am at Ms. Optimism everywhere. And that's the @ MZOPTIMIZM. That's on YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. And if you want to email me, just go to Train the Trainer Doctor, which is train, trainer, dr@gmail.com. Or you can call me at 646-349-0304. That is a Google number, so please state your name, and I'll pick it up.
Awesome. It was a pleasure. Honestly, it was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
I
you
hope
for
for you to come
having
back
me.
when
Yes.
your next book comes out, all
Yes.
that. All right?
Yes.
So thank you for watching. If you missed any of our show tonight, you can watch it again Thursday night at 9:30, or you can watch it online, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Thank you again for watching. Tune in again next week for another great episode for Beyond Focus TV. Thank you.
Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you. We really look forward to hearing from you.